Hey everybody, welcome back to my channel. My name is King Sam, and this is another video in our series where I show you guys how to make professional looking animations right here in After Effects. In our first video, I showed you how to storyboard your animation and your thought process. In my second video, I showed you guys how to create the logo and make the visual identity for the brand. In our third video, I showed you guys how to convert your storyboard into your artboards in Photoshop. In our fourth video, I started the animation, and in this the fifth video, I'm going to take the animation further and finish the entire sequence. For those of you that want to connect with me, the easiest way is to join me on my motion design community. The link is in the video description. I'll be going live with my motion design community next week Friday, and it's bound to be an amazing time. I will be answering any questions you have on any of my videos and any of our progress so far. And for those of you that want to just reach out to me, you can connect with me. My email is in the video description. You can check it out too. I'll also provide the program files so that you can actually walk along with me. So without talking too much, let's jump right in the video. What we're going to do is we're going to work on our next artboard next. So this artboard 3, I'm going there. I'm just going to select all these ones here because I already have this fifth cut and everything up here. I already have it. So let's go back to our main composition again, and I'm just going to paste it here. Now let's change all of them to the same color so it will be easy for us to notice. Now all of them are supposed to start from around 8 here, so I can just move them back like this. And let's extend our timeline. Okay, so the next thing I'm going to do is, if you go and check it out, you can see that our files are down here. So I'm going to just create a new null object, and I'm just going to move all of them, bind them to the null, and I'm just going to use my null here to move them. Okay, so now we don't need this null again, we can just delete it. So first, let's work on our transitions. So what we're going to do is that if you look at this, we have some items that repeat themselves. We have our description here, we also have our description here, we have our Dell XPS here, we have our Dell XPS here, we have our laptop here, here, we have a buy now here, we have a buy now here. So for those items, so buy now, this is our laptop, where is our description, and finally this Dell XPS here. So for those ones, now we're just going to open up their position and their scale. So I'm just going to make a keyframe on their position and their scale. I'm just going to select all that and just going to move it down by 1 second. So from up, let's zoom in a little bit. Let's move that by 1 second. Yeah. So this is 9 seconds here. So I can just move everything to 9 seconds here. Now we'll go back to the beginning here, and what we're going to do is we're just going to match their scale and their size and their position to match up with this ones here. So let's just start from, this is the Dell XPS. Okay, this is our text here. Let's zoom in. So this is going somewhere around here. Okay, so this is something that you should always watch out for. Your anchor points, where your anchor points are. Now, what we're going to do is we're just going to go to their counterparts now. So from here, we're just going to go down and then that color coded those ones too. So we have by now, we have XPS 17. We have laptop layer, and we have our distant layer. So same thing, position and scale. Now what we're going to do is we're going to make keyframe for the position and for the scale right here. Now we're going to 9 seconds down here. So what we're going to do now is we're going to match them up with these bigger ones now. So let's start from here. So go to your buy now here, and for this button animation here, for this buy now, we actually don't need it anymore since we're just going to animate it to be bigger. So you can just delete that, make a keyframe on our scale here. Okay,
So now let's just select all these ones, all these new keyframes. You just make sure to select them, and you guys should be careful to see if you select anything before. Like example, I selected this and this by mistake. You can just use shift to remove them. Hit F9 to easy ease. Let's open our graph editor and let's zoom in and just move this in like this. So what we're going to do now is that we're just going to come down to around 10 frames here, and all these our new purple this thing layers that we have here, the ones that we have put keyframe on, we're just going to select them, and we're just going to open up the opacity. Now I'm going to make a keyframe at the opacity at this 10 frames here, and I'm going to come back to the beginning here, and I'm just going to change it to 0. Now you can just select the remainder of them and hit F9 to ease. So you have this smooth transition going from those ones to the other ones. Now around 10 frames here, I'm just going to hold that 10 frames down, and I'm just going to come down here to this, add my second artboard. I'm just going to select everything that is under that artboard. So the second artboard starts from this green layer here, and it ends at handle left and handle right here. So I'm just going to open up the opacity. Now there are some of them already that have keyframes on the opacity, so I can just make new keyframes for them, and the ones that don't have keyframes of opacity, I can just create new keyframes for them like this. So it's very, very easy. And what I'm going to do now is that by this time all of them should have faded away, but I can just select all of them like this, and I'm just going to move them down to 8 seconds right here. Now around this place here, I'm just going to change all the opacities to 0. Now we can just go back, select everything, hit F9 and easy again. So let's check it out. Cool. I just made one big mistake. I had to go and add an opacity to this my title bar here. So let's find it first. Okay, this is it. I don't need it to fade out, so I can delete it. Another thing I want to do is I want to just do a very subtle animation. A lot of people might not notice it, but sometimes it's just the little details that matter. On my handle left and handle right here, I'm going to open up their position and their scale. Position and opacity, sorry. Now, at this point in time here, I'm just going to make keyframes on their position. And at this point in time here, I'm just going to come here and I'm just going to add 150. And for this one here, I'm just going to take away 150. So it's going to be a very subtle animation. You might not notice it that much, but you just see the two arrows fading out to the both sides. It's a small thing, but no. Sometimes the little details don't matter. Now let's work on our dot things here. So that thing has to enter into our composition one way or the other, and you're going to enter to use of opacity. Now towards the end of our animation here, when it's settling down, so let's see here, move it back like here, and I'm just going to change it to 0. That's it. Cool. Next thing I'm going to do is this here also, plus minus 1 and that rectangle. Where's rectangle? Okay, let's just move all of them closer together. Okay, so 4 of them like this. Opacity, keyframe at 100, move back, 0. F9 to ease. Let's check it out. Cool. Now we're going to work on our mouse animation. And one thing you should do again is you should move your mouse to the top of your composition like this. So after our mouse click here, there are two places our mouse has to go. Our mouse has to go here and it has to go back here. So when the animation finishes like this, our mouse is supposed to move from here, and around 10 seconds here, our mouse should be here. So our mouse should be here, and they are going to just stay here for some time, around 12 seconds here. We're just going to make another keyframe around 13 seconds here. We are moving our mouse back here. Now, if you can see that there's a little bit of a problem here, let me play it back to that point. Maybe you can notice it. Okay, it's going to be here. So if you see it here, our mouse is drifting a little bit, and that's because we added new points. So it's very easy to fix this. All you just need to do is, let's get this out of the way first, and go to our pen tool. Now, don't worry, we're going to add our points back. You can just drag this down like this. Now, here also we're going to add our point, drag it like this. Here also add a point, drag it like this. So next we're going to do, we're going to add our click animations here. So let's copy this, paste this here, move this front a little bit, and paste this here again. Now we're going to, our text has to actually increase, because as it's hitting the plus, as it's clicking on the plus here, it has to actually like trigger something that is here. And since it's a Photoshop file, you might be wondering how are you going to actually do that. What you just need to do is to come here, go to create, convert to editable text. So once I click that, it's actually going to convert it into After Effects type. So I can just come to the first place it's clicked here, Ctrl+Shift+D, so I can cut it. Come to the beginning of the click here again, Ctrl+Shift+D, so I can cut it again. Now I can click this, right 3. Now I'm coming down here, click this, right 2. Yeah, that's good. So next I'm going to do now is I'm just going to come down here, come to the end here, and I'm going to the first button animation we made. I'm just going to copy it here. Now, because we cannot be clicking this button here and expect it not to trigger too. So I think I can only notice something here. The anchor point is not in the middle here. So let's find the anchor point here, and just move the anchor point down. Okay. Now, where is our first click happening? First click is happening here, paste. Second click is happening here, paste. Okay, let's check it out now. Okay, so it comes down here, and this our buy now tool has a click animation. So let's go down to buy now here. Let's make sure it lines up properly. 1, 2 here. And I can just paste this here. Come up here, copy, paste. Now next I'm going to do is I'm just going to create a new solid, Ctrl+Y. Okay. And I'm just going to move this backward so it starts somewhere around here. Now I'm going to use my opacity, come down to somewhere like here, make a keyframe on my opacity here, go to the beginning here, and I'm going to change this to 0. Select the two of them, to F9 to easy ease, and let's check it out again. happening too slow. So we're going to create a check animation, and it's going to be really easy for us to go to design the check. So first of all, we're just going to need a circle. And I'm just going to draw a simple circle like this, and just give it a color. And then shut down the stroke and move this back. So we're just going to give a simple animation first, simple scale animation. Move this down here, scale at 0, come down here 110. So the anchor points in the middle, and now just use our align tab to align to the center of our composition. Now make sure nothing is selected, and we're just going to draw a simple check. Maybe tick. What do you call it in check or tick? Now for this, I'm just going to carry my stroke to 30, and I'm just going to align it to the center of my composition again. So I'm going to open this, add, trim parts, open my trim parts, and make a keyframe on my end and my start. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to move this backward a bit, let's say to somewhere around here. Now I'm going to move my start further backward because we're going to animate this later. But around this point, I want my animation for my check mark should be finished. So I'm just going to move this here, and let's see, around here I want it to start. So I just bring it down to 0, select it, hit F9. So here it's going to be the end of it, then increase this to 100. Select F9 to ease. Now, before it starts animating here, make a keyframe on your scale. Around here, I'm going to change this to 90. Come to the end here. Let's see, around here. And we're just going to increase this to as big as our composition size. It looks like that. So next I'm going to do is I'm just going to duplicate this my circle here. I'm just going to cut it down to somewhere like here, and I can just move this back. So I don't need this beginning animation. See, all I just need is this final animation. I take it down to 0. Change the fill color back to white. Okay, I don't like this. This is our transition. I actually don't like it. Let me just move this, change it back. Check it out again. Too slow.
Okay, this video is looking amazing. What do you guys think? I have 2 more videos in this series. The next video is going to show you guys how I'm going to make my final logo reveal, and the video after that is going to show you guys how to actually do your sound editing and your audio design. It's bound to be an amazing video, so subscribe to the channel so you don't miss any of my amazing videos coming up next. You can also follow me on all of my social media platforms. The links are in the video description. And now that you have learned how to make this amazing animation, you can take a crack at learning how to make this one right here, or you can make this one right here, and I'll catch you in that video. So remember, improve every day, grow constantly, and dream endlessly. Love you guys.